Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Swiss. Still a lot of games going on right now, so I can't tell you how we did last night. I know it started off terrible. Pirates coming back and winning. Rockies coming back and winning. Definitely gave us a nice boost. It looks like we're going to be around breaking even. I'm not sure. I'll let you know on the live show tomorrow morning. But anyway, I'm going through 10 games. I didn't make it through all 15, but we'll go through all 15 on the live show at 11 a.m. So let's get into it. Update. So we went 5-5 on the ticket exactly. All 5 hits were plus money too. The problem is we had a full unit on Mets money line, which killed us. So despite having 5 plus money hits, we finished minus 0.08. So basically a break even Friday night for us.
Welcome to the Swiss. The Swiss. Hey, get the Swiss.
First up is Rays at Red Sox, and it looked like it was supposed to be Josh Fleming bullpen day for Tampa against Tanner Houck for Boston. But now that game got postponed, it's a doubleheader. I think it was already supposed to be a doubleheader, to be honest, but I don't know if the rotations got jumbled, so I'm going to skip this one for now because I'm not sure who's going to pitch. So let's skip and move on to the next one. Tigers at White Sox. Michael Lorenzen pitching against Dylan Cease. White Sox open up as minus 220 favorites. Total opens up at 8.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, we got to lean on the Tigers here. Looking at 3-0 Tigers after 5 innings. Final score 4-1 Tigers. So right off the bat, before I even look at anything, I already know I'm leaning Detroit in this one for the simple fact that people are going to look at this pitching matchup and they're going to think the White Sox have the starting pitching advantage with Dylan Cease on the mound. But straight up, Michael Lorenzen is pitching better than Dylan Cease, and I'm not just talking about right now. I'm talking about this entire season. Have you seen Lorenzen's numbers in May? He made 5 starts in the month of May. 32 1/3 innings pitched, 1.95 ERA. He's pitching his ass off. He also just made a start against the Chicago White Sox. That was less than a week ago. He completely blanked them. 6 2/3 innings pitched, just 2 hits, 0 earned runs. Chicago could not touch this dude, and that's pretty on par for the White Sox. They've been one of the worst lineups in baseball against right-handed pitching this entire season, and they're not showing any signs of improvement. And even if you want to make the case, even if you want to say, yo, the White Sox bats just saw Lorenzen, they should get to him this time. Even if you want to go down that avenue, Dylan Cease is pitching for Chicago, and the Tigers bats just saw him less than a week ago also. The difference is Michael Lorenzen shut the White Sox down, and the Tigers smacked Dylan Cease around. 4 hits, 4 walks, and just 4 innings of work. He didn't even come out to pitch the 5th. At this price, this was a pretty easy decision for me. I'm taking Detroit. Give me the Tigers money line at plus 140 next game. Cardinals at Pirates. Jordan Montgomery pitching against Luis Ortiz. Cardinals open up as heavy favorites here, minus 235. Total opens up at 8.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. Heavy lean on the Pirates. After 5 innings, we're looking at 4-0 Pittsburgh. Final score 6-0 Pittsburgh. Luis Ortiz is not great. There's no denying that. And I know we're dealing with a small sample size here, but if you look at his 2 home starts, you might be able to find an angle here. We're talking about a 2.60 ERA and a 2.27 WOBA allowed in his 2 home starts. Here's where it gets even more impressive. His opponents in those 2 home starts were the Rangers and the Rockies. 2 lineups that have been very good against right-handed pitching this season. The big X factor in betting this game is going to be the Cardinals bats. Because as we all know, they were completely ice cold for 7 straight games heading into last night's game. They rocked Roansy Contreras. Is that enough to make us start trusting this lineup again? Personally, I'd say probably not. On the other side, we got Jordan Montgomery, and I mean, there's not many positive points to make about him right now. The Cards have lost 9 straight Jordan Montgomery starts. Over the last 4, he's posting a terrible 6.98 ERA and a 191 whip. He's truly struggling. Is this a guy you really want to lay juice with a heavy favorite with this guy on the mound? I know the Pittsburgh bats are pretty tough to rely on. They're also making it tough to read because earlier in the season they were crushing lefties and now they're hitting better against righties than lefties, making it really difficult to read here. I don't feel strongly either way, but if you're straight up comparing these 2 starting pitchers in this particular spot, I think it's safe to say you give the nod to Luis Ortiz here. And that's enough for me at a plus 135 price. If I think I have the slight starting pitching advantage and I still don't trust the Cardinals bats, I'm taking it. Give me the Pirates money line again. They cashed for us last night. Plus 135 next game. Mariners at Rangers. Marco Gonzalez, I guess, pitching against Andrew Heaney. Texas opens up as -130 favorites. Total opens up at 9. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. We're looking at 5-1 Rangers after 5 innings. Final score 8-2 Rangers. I'm skipping this one for now. The reason I said I guess before is because we're getting mixed signals as far as who's pitching for Seattle. Action Network says it's Brian Wu. ESPN says it's Marco Gonzalez. DraftKings doesn't even have it up. They don't even have a pitcher listed. So I'm going to wait on this one and see till I know who's definitely pitching for Seattle. I'll have a bet for this one, though, on the live show at 11 a.m. next game. Phillies at Nats. Dylan Covey pitching against Mackenzie Gore. Phillies open up as slight favorites here, -120. Total's not even open for this game. In fact, this line is only open on one book, but we'll go through it anyway. Well, what else can we say at this point other than the Phillies look absolutely terrible? Now you put a lefty like Mackenzie Gore on the mound, it's really tough to resist fading him in this spot. The Phillies are 28th in WRC plus for left-handed pitching over the last month. This has been a spot they consistently struggle with all year, and they're going to be without Alex Bohm, one of their best batters against left-handed pitching. Now, I know if you take a peek at Mackenzie Gore's game logs, Washington's just 3-8 in his last 11 starts, and that is concerning. But if you look at the first 5 in those games, they're 6-3-2 to the first 5 money line. So Washington's bullpen's been blowing these for him. I trust Mackenzie Gore to get the job done against this Phillies lineup. Not just that he's a lefty. I mean, they're not hitting righties either. Phillies aren't hitting anybody. As far as Washington's bats, I think they can show up here. I mean, Dylan Covey did pitch well in his first 2 home starts, but when he visited Atlanta for his first road start since 2020, he got crushed. 6 hits, 7 runs, and 2 home runs allowed in less than 1 inning of work. And if you look at his history before this season, yeah, he started the season off with 2 solid starts at home. He's been a nightmare in the MLB. He's had an ERA above 7 in 3 of his 4 seasons in the league. With Washington smashing Zach Wheeler yesterday, and this team sitting at 2nd in WRC plus against righties over the last 2 weeks, I think we can rely on these Nats bats. I gotta ride with Washington here. Now, like I said earlier, the line isn't open for this game on most sportsbooks yet. I see it open on a couple at +100. I do like the Nats money line at +100. I'm interested to see where the first 5 money line opens. So there's a chance on the live show I switch to the first 5 money line, or maybe I bet them both. But I'm on the Nats. Definitely won't be back in the Phillies. That's for sure. Next game, Oakland at Miami. Louis Medina pitching against Yuri Perez. Marlins open up as heavy favorites here, -185. Total opens up at 8.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and we're getting a lean on Miami here. After 5 innings, we're looking at 4-0 Marlins. Final score 5-0 Marlins. Not gonna lie here, I'm actually considering an Oakland bet in this spot, and I know that sounds crazy. I'm not the type of person that bets Oakland a lot. In fact, I can't even remember the last time I did bet Oakland. It had to be at least a week ago. But I think Louis Medina is a bit undervalued. He's on Oakland, and he's gotten completely shelled twice this year. So everyone's kind of got it in their brains that this dude is just trash. But he's actually made a few solid starts this season. 6 innings, 5 hits, and 3 earned runs against the Rangers is a quality start. 6 innings, 3 hits, and 2 walks against the D-backs is a quality start. Oh, look, I'm not going to try to sit here and sell Louis Medina to you. I'm just saying, in my opinion, he's a bit undervalued. And I know everyone's drinking the Perez Kool-Aid. I mean, this kid looks amazing, but he's still, a 20-year-old kid? And he still shows at times when he's on the mound. I'm taking the +1.5. Well, actually, I shouldn't say definitely. I think I'm taking the +1.5. It's at -130. Probably going to go Oakland +1.5. -130 next game. Rockies at Royals. Austin Gomer pitching against Daniel Lynch. Royals open up as heavy favorites here, -140, and the total opens up at 8.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and we got a solid lean on the Royals here. 3-1 KC after 5 innings. Final score 5-3 KC. Maybe I'm nuts, but I actually like the spot for the Royals here. Yes, even at this price. Look at Austin Gomer's last 4 starts. He's got a 7.40 ERA, a 4.02 WOBA, and a 6.77 FIP. Those are some ugly looking numbers, and he's on the road against the Royals lineup. And look, the Royals bats are nothing to write home about. That being said, they've been significantly better against left-handed pitching than they have against righties. They're not good against lefties, but they're not nearly as bad as they are against right-handed pitching. I mean, check this out. The last 10 lefty starters to face the Kansas City Royals own a combined 5.30 ERA and a 1.55 whip. I would never count on the Kansas City Royals bats to light the scoreboard up. That being said, against a struggling Gomer, I think we can count on KC putting a few runs across here. On the other side, we got Daniel Lynch pitching for the Royals. And if you look at his numbers from last year, you might be thinking, How could we even consider betting this guy? But I'll have you know, Daniel Lynch went into Coors Field last year and blanked the Rockies. And what makes it even more crazy is if you remember the Rockies from last year, they were first in OPS versus left-handed pitching. If you watched the show last year, every time a lefty starter went into Coors Field, we were fading them. The Rockies were crushing lefties. Daniel Lynch went in there, 5 1/3 shutout innings of baseball in Coors Field. That's a seriously impressive feat. Now he's not in Coors Field. He's at home in KC against the Rockies again, but this Rockies lineup is way different than last year's Rockies lineup. Remember how they were first in OPS versus lefties? Now they're hitting righties. They can't hit lefties for shit. They're actually dead last in WRC plus this year against left-handed pitching, 29th in OPS. The last 5 lefty starters to face the Rockies, 30 2/3 innings pitched, 1.46 ERA and a 1.04 whip. Lefty starters are dealing against Colorado. Shit, man, Tommy Henry, of all people, just pitched 7 shutout innings against the Colorado Rockies. I think Daniel Lynch is about to throw a good game. Add on the fact that the Colorado Rockies bullpen is 29th in WOBA allowed over the last 14 days. I'm riding with KC, man. I mean, obviously, I hate this -140 price, but I think I'm going to play it. I may also play the first 5 minus a half run. That's at +100. Obviously, that looks like better value, but I really think they win this game. I like KC. Next game. Angels at Astros. Patrick Sandoval pitching against Christian Javier. Obviously, Houston opens up as heavy favorites here, -195, and the total opens up at 8.5. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet. We got a very slight lean on Houston here. 3-2 Astros after 5 innings. Final score 5-3 Astros. So I like the Angels here. I mean, at first glance, I was liking the Angels, and the more I looked, the more I liked. I mean, it's not one of my favorite plays, but you got the Angels coming off an ugly loss last night. Patrick Sandoval's on the mound, and I know not everyone loves Patrick Sandoval like I do, but his last 2 starts on the road were both great. In fact, Sandoval's got a real nice looking 3.20 ERA in his 5 road starts this year. Couple that with the fact that the Astros lineup does all their damage against right-handed pitching. Houston's just 23rd against left-handed pitching in the last 30 days and 19th in the last 14 days. I know that Astros lineup is scary, but they really haven't been hitting lefties like that. Something that worries me, and this is definitely a little scary, Sandoval does not have a great history against Houston. In fact, he's been pretty terrible against them. That's the only thing holding me back from completely hammering the Angels in this spot. I know Christian Javier has been absolutely dominant, but check this out. So all of his starts have been on the road. He's only pitched at home once in the last 5 weeks, and that was against the scrub-ass Cubs lineup, who's terrible against right-handed pitching. Christian Javier's last home start before the Cubs was against the Phillies back when they were hitting righties, and they got to Javier, 7 hits and 3 earned runs off him. The Angels can definitely hit righties. In fact, they're 4th in WRC plus against right-handed pitching in the last 30 days. I don't think it's crazy to think that the Angels get to this guy tonight. So I like the Angels here. First 5 money line, full game money line. I like them both. I don't know which one I'm going to bet. Maybe I'll split my money in half and bet them both, but definitely on the Angels. Also, Prop Beaver has a strikeout prop that he likes in this one. He sent me his notes. They're right here. So here's Christian Javier's strikeout history against the Angels. Through 72 at-bats against the Angels, Javier has 36 strikeouts. So that's insane. That's a 50% strikeout rate. In his last 4 starts against the Angels, Javier has 11, 10, 14, and 9. So this dude has been racking up strikeouts against LA. Angels are sitting 9th worst in strikeout rate against right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. So with Christian Javier's line at 6.5 strikeouts at -115, Prop Beaver likes the over. So Javier over 6.5 strikeouts -115. Next game. Brewers at Reds. Colin Ray versus Graham Ashcraft. This one opens up as a pick'em. -110 on each side. Total opens up at 9.5. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet, and we have no lean at all here. We're looking at 3-3 after 5 innings. Final score 5-5. Doesn't even give us a lean on the total. This sucks because I want to bet the Reds again, man. I know we just took back-to-back losses with Cincinnati. Good news is we're still up. We rode the Reds through that whole hot streak. The Reds are still, 8-4 in their last 12. They should have won last night, man. I mean, against Corbin Burns, they bottom of the 10th, tie game. They got the heart of their order up with the runner on second. I mean, they were in a position to win the game. Yeah, they lost in the 11th, but I'm not willing to just completely call them dead yet. I'm not gonna give out the Reds money line. I'm not going to put it on the ticket because a couple people were mad about it today, which is crazy. People are psychopaths, but I'll say Reds are pass in this one. I will probably personally bet the Reds on the side. So Reds are pass. The thing is, Graham Ashcraft is terrifying. He's been so bad. If it wasn't Ashcraft, I would be like, yo, we're going Reds again. I don't care what anyone thinks. But Ashcraft truly has been that bad. So Reds are pass. Next game. Actually, there is no next game. It's after midnight already. Saturdays are tough because the games start so early. I mean, as I'm recording this, the games aren't even over yet. So it's tough to give out bets when we don't even know what bullpen arms are available. So live show, 11 a.m. Toast is joining. We're going through all 15. So hopefully if you're able to join us at 11 a.m. Eastern time, we'd love to see you in the comments. If anything changes about any of the bets I gave out in this video, I will let you know on Twitter. So give me a follow there if you're interested. And if you want the final ticket, which has every single bet we're placing, top bets, and top bets have had a rough couple days, man. Top bets need a bounce back. Parlay of the day, that kind of stuff. If you're interested in that, head over to KyleKirms.com.